Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. OTB on this Thursday. T-Bob, Jake Marr, and Danny keeping you company. And right now we're going to welcome another man into the fold, a birthday man. And that is our guy Jeff Duncan at Jeff Duncan _ does his work on theathletic.com. A fantastic site. If you aren't signed up, you should be. Jeff, what's going on, man?
T-Bob, just celebrating another year around the sun and looking forward to many more in the future.
Yeah, congratulations. Our guy Doug Tatum giving me the inside information. I just turned 32. Jake just turned 36. Are you willing to put an age on this year around the sun?
Let's just say this. Let's keep it this way. I'm a little older than those two ages.
Okay, just a tad. Okay. Just a smidge older. Yeah. But you know what they say, with age comes wisdom. So in all of your sagacity, when you looked at yesterday's Saints schedule, what were your biggest takeaways from the NFL's reveal?
Well, there are a few things, T-Bob. You know how it is. I mean, you guys cover the NFL as well as anybody. I mean, the league is different than, say, college football. I mean, it's hard to find easy wins. There's such parity. The business model promotes parity. And I think with the Saints offseason, so many veterans off the roster. We have uncertainty at the quarterback position for the first time in a decade and a half. I'm kind of on the a little bit of the Dunky Downer side. It looks like a tough schedule to me, and I feel like it's hard to sit there and look at it now and in May and say, boy, there's a bunch of gimme wins. I mean, maybe other than the Giants game at home, maybe the Jets game on the road. Where we're at now, it looks to me like every game's going to be a battle, and that stretch, I guess, mid-season, I think it's like weeks 10 through 13, around the Thanksgiving stretch, is going to be very decisive, at least from where we look here in mid-May. Yeah,
that's that at Titans, at Eagles, home Bills, home Cowboys, at Jets, and then at Tampa is 10 through 15. That's definitely a tough stretch right there. Jeff, what was your reaction to the 5 primetime games, right? I mean, I think maybe I was off base, but you kind of assumed Drew Brees moves on because of the lowered expectations combined with like what Tom Brady and Tampa's doing and maybe some other exciting storylines elsewhere. It just felt like maybe the Saints would be shuttled to the side, but no, I mean, playing on 2 holidays, 5 primetime games, it looks like the NFL still thinks they're a national draw.
Yeah, that's really what stands out, T-Bob. I mean, I think the greatest legacy that Drew Brees and Sean Payton will have here, when they leave, obviously Drew is left when Sean Payton leaves, it will be that they raised the perception, the image, changed the culture, and most importantly, changed the profile and trajectory of the organization. I mean, the fact that you can lose the greatest player in Saints history, one of the greatest in NFL history, and still garner that kind of attention, 5 primetime games, 2 other games in the Fox Sunday main slot, the America's Game of the Week. So you have 7, almost half your schedule.
Wow, yeah.
Eyes are going to be on you. That didn't happen before Drew Brees and Sean Payton came around. It just didn't. And that is the biggest change in the organization, and that's a great tribute to what they've done and what they've built on Airline Drive.
All right, Jeff, obviously when the schedule comes out, you know that you got the divisional matchups and the NFC South. You're going to face those teams. And after now that we've had free agency, we've had the draft, kind of give us your pecking order, because it's really been a conversation we've had this week of NFC South and where the other teams kind of fall. So right now, after everything's settled, before we get to camp, how do you see the NFC South?
I think, it's pretty cut and dried in my mind. I mean, Tampa Bay is the clear kingpin right now. Mm-hmm. They return everyone from the Super Bowl champions. I think they're the most complete team, offense and defense. It's hard to find very many weaknesses on that team. It's going to be their enemy is going to be within. Can they have the same motivation after winning and being the target now? And then I think the Saints clearly fall in number 2. I think they're still a playoff challenger. The problem with the Saints, I think, is there's little margin for error now. The depth has been robbed. You have a lot of younger players stepping into key roles, and there's just uncertainty there. We don't know how the quarterback position is going to play out. We don't even know who the quarterback is going to be. So I think there's enough question marks with the Saints that it could go either way. That team could go 10-7, I think, or 7-10. It just feels that way. How are the breaks going to play out? How are the injuries going to play out? Things like that will determine, I think, this team's season. But they have enough talent, 7 Pro Bowlers and All Pros on the roster, that they can get back to the playoffs. And then I think it comes down to a battle royale for third between Atlanta and Carolina. And I'm banking on a bounce back year for Atlanta. I think the coaching change there is going to be a positive one. I think their offense can compete with anybody in the NFL. That perimeter core is going to be scary with Pitts coming in there to join Julio Jones. I think that's the team to worry about if you're a Saints fan, of eclipsing you and moving into second place. And then there's just too many questions for me in Carolina, even though I'm a big Matt Rule fan and I like the direction they're going. I think there's too many question marks with Sam Darnold yet to see them overtaking, say, New Orleans at number 2.
Well, and okay, so I want to explore the Atlanta thing in a little more detail, Jeff, because it is interesting, right? You got Matt Ryan, who is as proven of a quarterback in the league as you will find, a former MVP, obviously. You've now added him weapons. You look at a team last year that was 7-9 with some of the worst, most inexcusable losses, really, in NFL history. So while you did say that Atlanta is a threat to New Orleans, what is it about the Saints that makes you still comfortable giving them the benefit of the doubt over an Atlanta team that has a much more proven quarterback situation?
Well, it goes back to the famous quote from Andy Reid. I remember he said at one point in his career, give me a franchise quarterback, a shutdown corner, 2 tackles, and a pass rusher, and I'll figure out the rest. Well, the Saints have all that except the quarterback. They lost Breeze. You're hoping you get solid quarterback play from either Winston or Hill, and I think that's certainly achievable. And this team has proven. I mean, in the last 2 years, they've gone 8-1 without Drew Brees. They're good enough in other areas, defensively and special teams. Even losing Thomas Morstead, I think they're still so solid on special teams, to where they can claw out those 27, 23 wins because they're so well coached. I still have a great confidence in Sean Payton and his staff. But I do think Arthur Smith is a very talented, he's well-respected young coach. I think Terry Fontenot, I have a lot of respect for him. I know he's going to change that culture there. And I feel like that organization has been underachieving. And they've brought in a very good staff as well, which has never been the case there. I mean, Dan Quinn did not have a good staff. And every time they played the Saints, it felt like the Saints were playing chess and the Falcons were playing checkers. That might not be the case going forward. So I do think there's a potential of a jump up for Atlanta with a better management.
Jeff, what do you think the Saints' biggest need still is after everything's kind of settled with the draft and free agency?
Oh, there's no question. They're going to get a corner. They're going to go find a veteran corner, whether it's in free agency, and I would not rule out a trade. This team's very aggressive. They've done it in past years. The key is going to be, can they fit a trade under the salary cap? Will they have to make some more moves? Ink Ramczyk or Lattimore or both to long-term extensions. They can create room there, but they are going to be aggressive. Paulson Adebo, their third-round pick from Stanford, they're very high on. He's more of a developmental prospect. He opted out his last year at Stanford. His best years are ahead of him. He's not going to be the starting corner opposite Lattimore this year. They're going to find somebody somewhere, and it might be a big name. I mean, they're going to go big game hunting in the trade market, I think. And will they find that person? Can they work out a deal? That remains to be seen, but it's not going to be the cornerback room that we see right now once training camp starts.
So kind of in that same vein, Jeff, what is the latest on the Lattimore situation? Do we have any idea about potential suspensions or anything that could be coming because of the off-season arrest?
T-Bob, I have not heard an update. I really haven't. I will say this, even if those charges are dropped or reduced, that does not, preclude the NFL from stepping in with some type of discipline. It's happened in the past. There's precedent for that. So he could be looking at some kind of penalty of a 1 or 2 game suspension, regardless of how the criminal case comes out. So I think the Saints are prepared for that, and that's more reason for them to find a veteran. Right now, that position, guys, sticks out like a sore thumb to me, especially in a division with so many perimeter weapons. I mean, Tampa Bay and Atlanta come to mind right away. You just can't step onto an NFL field with the secondary the Saints have. As talented as they are on the back end at safety, which I think is the strength of the team defensively, corners a glaring need.
I completely agree with you there, but I do want to ask you about one more position, Jeff, and that's the receiver position. I thought it is something that they would take a bigger look at in the draft. They go obviously with a late round selection there. Could you see them maybe bringing in a veteran receiver? I'm trying to think who's on the market right now. A Golden Tate, someone like that, just to have another veteran presence in that room?
I think they're going to consider that. I don't think it's nearly as pressing as corner in their mind.
Right.
I can tell you this. They were very high on Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to trade up on day 2,
wow.
aggressively trade up into the top of the second round to get him. They were targeting him. They loved Elijah Moore, thought he would fit perfectly into their offense, complement Mike Thomas, be that slot guy, could also play outside, but they couldn't work out a trade. They just couldn't get up there, and Elijah Moore went off the board number 2 in the second round. That was the guy they wanted. It didn't work out, so I think they fell back and were hoping maybe another receiver would fall to them, and it didn't work out the way they're bored. This was not a draft, guys, that worked out very well for the Saints. Some years things fall your way. Some years you're aggressive. You can make it happen. I think by being at 28, the fact that this draft really was like a 15, 16 player deep first round, there just a lot of circumstances did not play into the hand of the Saints, and it was kind of a blah draft, and those happen. As much as you want to make it happen, sometimes you can't. And I think receiver was one they would have liked to address in the first 3 rounds, and it didn't play out that way.
He's the best. Jeff Duncan, at Jeff Duncan _. Catch him on theathletic.com. Wish him a happy birthday on Twitter today, and give him a little birthday present by going and signing up for The Athletic. Jeff, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to get ready to do my first Jaeger bomb of the day.
Woo! Oh, wow.
Let's go.
Wow, okay. I mean,
yeah, hey.
That feels like a 22-year-old mood to me, Jeff.
Exactly.
Staying young. Congrats, man.
I love it, guys. Thanks for starting out my big day on the right foot. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. You have a great day. Happy birthday.
Jaeger bomb.
That's
my chest just started to hurt.
That is horrible.
Holy Freds.
Licorice. Even though in 2007 the Jaeger bomb video was the hotness.
Yeah.
Remember, old boy, Jaeger bombs. I mean, that is one of the original viral videos back then. All right. When we get back, closing up hour number 1 and getting ready for a big hour 2. Coach Mulkey's still to come. Keep it locked on OTB.